In France, the two right-wing presidential candidates, Eric Zemmour and Marine Le Pen, have pledged their supporters to the campaign. In front of 6,000 supporters at a second major election campaign event in Lille on Saturday, the right-wing extremist ex-journalist Zemmour criticized the social benefit dependency which favors immigration. The right-wing populist candidate Le Pen fought a long-distance duel with her rival from Reims. Zemmour announced in Lille that he would be the president who brings entrepreneurs and employees together and put an end to the waste of taxpayers' money. Around 1,100 demonstrators, including 200 radical leftists according to the police, protested in the street of the northern French city against the presidential candidate who had been convicted twice of sedition. The police sometimes used tear gas. 6 demonstrators were arrested. Another demonstration with around 500 participants, including the socialist mayor of Lille, Martine Aubry, remained peaceful. The right-wing populist Le Pen tried to distance herself from her rival Zemmour at an election campaign event for her Rassemblement National in Reims in northern France. In a recent survey by Ipsos Soprasteria, she's level with the right-wing extremist with 14% each, behind the right-wing conservative candidate Valérie Pécresse with 16.5% and incumbent Emmanuel Macron with 24%. However, more and more Le Pen supporters are defecting to the more extreme Zemmour. Le Pen's verbal attacks were also directed at Macron. He was responsible for the regression of a multiple traumatized, abandoned and brutalized France, she said in front of 4,000 supporters. In Reims, more than 100 people demonstrated with slogans like "Out with the extreme right, Le Pen, Zemmour and co." against the politicians from the right edge of the candidate field. On social media, users have apparently reacted insultingly to Turkish President Erdoğan's corona disease. Several are being investigated, including a well-known athlete. 4 people have been arrested for offensive posts on social media in connection with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's corona disease. The state news agency Anadolu reported on Sunday that 4 others were being sought. A total of more than 30 user accounts would be investigated for alleged insults to the president and his wife Emine Erdoğan. Anadolu did not provide details about the content of the messages. The pro-government newspaper Sabah wrote that some users who are now being investigated indirectly wished Erdoğan's death on Twitter. Among them is the former Turkish national swimmer Derya Büyükuncu. Sports Minister Mehmet Kazapoglu announced consequences for the athlete. Erdoğan and his wife announced on Saturday that they had tested positive for the coronavirus. The president also assured on Sunday via Twitter that it was a mild course. Erdoğan's state of health is always an issue in Turkey. In November, investigations were launched into users who had speculated on Twitter about the death of the president. Chancellor Olaf Scholz has announced an increase in the German Bundeswehr's participation in NATO operations in the Baltic States. Shortly before departure, the Chancellor commented on his inaugural visit to the USA. Russia has massed troops on the border with Ukraine, and the country and the West fear an invasion. The Kremlin rejects this accusation but makes extensive demands on the NATO countries. Western countries are threatening far-reaching sanctions if Russian troops invade Ukraine. Shortly before his visit to the USA, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz brought up the use of the Bundeswehr in the Baltic States in the Ukraine crisis. "We are ready to do everything necessary to strengthen that," he said on Sunday on German public television, referring to German soldiers already stationed in Lithuania. He will soon be speaking to the heads of government of the Baltic States. It is important to counter Russia with a clear strategy from the Allies. Now that's something we're going to flesh out. They have already achieved that people are talking again, he says. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson continues to fear for his office. One of Johnson's staunchest supporters, Tory MP Charles Walker, resigned from him on Saturday. A fall of Johnson is inevitable, Walker told the British Observer. Walker said Johnson did a lot of things right, including the vaccination campaign being well managed, but the parties at 10 Downing Street, amid the UK lockdown, would have incensed a traumatized country. It's just not going to get any better, he said. Johnson had to resign. Another Tory, Stephen Hammond, was critical. At the weekend, he said he would carefully consider whether he still has confidence in the Prime Minister. It looks like the beginning of the end for Johnson. But it's a very long one already, I must say. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.